Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Pastatime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And today, we have SCPs for you.
Indeed.
Sounds kind of dirty.
We do. It does. SCPs are this weird website that basically describes creatures that technically don't exist. It's all fictional writing. However, you're supposed to give this creature a description, followed by some examples of what its behavior is, and then a classification of whether or not it's dangerous, safe, or like utilitarian in some nature.
Okay.
It's a very, very fun thing. We've done these in the past before, and I'm very excited to do some SCPs today. I have two. Robin has two. I have one that's kind of scary, and then I have one that's kind of cute. Robin, what are yours
Mine
going
are
to be?
both weird.
You just have weird ones?
I got weird ones.
All I know is the picture on one of the ones that she sent me is disturbing. I was like, hell no, when I saw it. So I guess I'm anxious to hear what she has to say. I'm definitely not excited, but I do want to hear what yours are about. So cool. That said, if you have an SCP suggestion or possibly an SCP that you have written, you can always send it to us by emailing pastatime@scarish.com. That is our website. Or you can go to scarish.com, click on contact us, fill out that form, it comes to us, or hit us up on our various social medias. We don't really have a set way we do SCP intros, so I feel like I just stole both of them. But I think Robin's okay with it.
I'm not complaining.
She's not.
I don't like to describe all the stuff we do anyway.
Robin's like, I don't like talking, even though we have like 450 episodes of a podcast, or however fucking many we have. Either way, I am excited, so I believe I'm going to be going first if I'm not mistaken.
You go.
The two-tapper on the shoulder means I am cleared for takeoff, folks, so strap on. I'm going to be covering SCP-689 to start. This object class is Keter, which means
is the worst.
The worst. The most dangerous.
Not that it's the worst. It is the most dangerous.
The most
hardest
dangerous
to contain.
Yes, hardest to contain is the best way to put it. Good job, Robin.
Thanks.
So,
we've done enough SCP episodes.
We have. I really like SCPs. So SCP-689 is to be contained in a large concrete chamber equipped with high-intensity sodium iodide lights. These lights must be wired to separate redundant circuits such that SCP-689 is brightly illuminated at all times. At least 3 personnel must be on duty at all times within the containment facility, 2 Class D inside the chamber, and 1 Level 2 or higher at the operator station outside the chamber. The operator must either be completely blind or be fitted with a visored helmet sufficient to block all vision, which must not be removed for the duration of their shift. Under absolutely no circumstances is the operator to look into the chamber. The Class D observers must, between them, keep SCP-689 in view at all times without exception. Blinking, etc. is allowed as normal, but there must be at least one set of eyes focused on SCP-689 at all times. If the lights go out inside the chamber at any time for any reason, or if there is any interruption in observation, all currently extant personnel who have seen SCP-689 must be evacuated without delay. That includes people who are not on shift, apparently. Anyone who's seen this thing, actually seen it, must be evacuated if it is somehow not observed for any length of time whatsoever.
That's weird.
Except for blinking. Apparently blinking's okay. SCP-689 is evil, but reasonable. It's like, oh, I get it. You gotta blink. That's my blinking sound. So, all right. It is recommended that they be fitted with remotely activated kill devices triggerable from the containment control room. This is in reference to the personnel, by the way.
Okay.
If SCP-689 is known to have left the chamber at any time, retrieval teams consisting of blind or visored personnel equipped with echolocators, along with Class D observers, so basically the bottom of the barrel employees, the entry-level folks, they get to be the eyeballs if this thing escapes. Everyone important has to wear visors or just be blind in general. With Class D observers must be dispatched to the location of all personnel who have previously viewed SCP-689. Retrieval teams will establish an immediate perimeter and cover the object before returning it to the chamber as quickly as possible.
What does it do to you?
It's pretty interesting. We're about to get there.
Okay.
While SCP-689 is in transit, the Class D observers will stand under the covering and keep it in view at all times. Any Level 1 or below personnel who have seen 689 as a result of a containment breach are to be terminated immediately.
Which means murdered.
Yeah, you just kill your employees if they're Level 1 or lower. Higher,
I mean, if you choose to work for this, foundation, I'm sure you got to be prepared.
Steer clear of covering 689. You should hear that number and be like, ooh, no.
You should hear Goose Drank Wine.
What?
689 Goose Drank Wine.
Did you just make up 3 words that
No,
rhyme?
holy fuck. You've never heard of that before?
I've heard of Untitled Goose Game or whatever.
Well, oh my God.
What's Goose
It's
Drank Wine?
No, it's part of us. So Aaron Carter, when I was younger.
How did I never hear of this if it came from Aaron Carter?
It was a song, and one of the lyrics in the song was 689 Goose Drank Wine.
Nope.
The monkey chewed tobacco and something, something, something. Oh my God.
No. Not ringing any bells.
Wow.
So I'm safe from the Aaron Carter SCP.
Okay.
Good to know. All right. Where was I? Lots of people being murdered. Higher clearance personnel will be temporarily retained, but in the event of another containment failure, they are to be terminated. Requests to study SCP-689 must be submitted to Dr. Redacted at least 7 days in advance with a detailed description of the proposed experiment and justification. Any researcher directly viewing 689 should be aware that doing so renders them liable to immediate and summary termination in the event of any containment or light failure as described above. It's funny because it almost sounds like a job description, but in this case, termination does not mean you lose your job. It means you die.
Okay.
So here we go. Description. Now we're going to find out what it does and what it looks like. SCP-689 appears to be a small, green soapstone statue 30 centimeters in height.
What does soapstone look like?
I imagine it's literally soap that's carved to look like a
I
statue
don't
because
think
I don't
so.
know what soapstone looks like. Also, don't ask me how tall 30 centimeters is. It's 30 centimeters. That's how tall.
30 centimeters is 0.3 meters. So.
Okay, thanks. So about a foot.
So about, yeah. It's
Okay,
about a
got
foot.
it. It is carved in the semblance of what appears to be an unknown deity of the underworld. A seated skeletal figure with hands clasped over knees. It was discovered by Redacted during one of the pre-war German archaeological expeditions in the Redacted area of India and obtained after the war by the OSS. Its location during the war is unknown. SCP-689 is completely inert for as long as it is being watched by at least one human being. Normal behaviors such as blinking do not appear to interrupt the quote-unquote watching for this purpose, but any lapse in attention, however momentary, renders the observer vulnerable. As soon as 689 is unobserved, it vanishes from its current location. Within 15 to 20 seconds, one person who has previously viewed SCP-689 dies instantaneously.
So how do you know where he goes?
SCP, you have to find the people who have seen it and then check and see if they're alive. That's why they say you have to hunt down and contain all the people who have viewed this thing, because one of them will be dead if it becomes unobserved.
Every 20 seconds.
And then when someone comes in to find it, it's like a plague. As long as they look at it, now they're the next person who could die. So because of that, you always have to keep it observed, or this chain reaction could basically continue on and on and on for anyone who has seen it.
All right.
All right, so someone dies instantaneously. SCP-689 reappearing on top of their remains. If no previous viewers are presently alive, it reappears in the same place as previous. Texts have established that this effect is not operative on non-humans, but that any human being who has ever directly viewed SCP-689 is potentially vulnerable. No consistent cause of death has been found, with autopsy results ranging from heart attacks and strokes to complete rupture of all internal organs. The mechanism by which the victim is selected is currently unknown, save that preference seems to be given to persons in crowds or otherwise surrounded by large numbers of people, presumably to increase the number of people viewing the statue. Recorded images of SCP-689 do not appear to have this property.
So you can see a picture of it, but not be one of the murdered.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Yep. So I don't think there's a picture on this, though. Due to the potential for a, quote, chain reaction, I don't know why they put that in quotes. Once SCP-689 is allowed to leave the chamber, it is considered absolutely critical that all personnel who have seen the object be terminated immediately on any lapse in observation. And there's an addendum, which is kind of fun. So 689-B, a proposed experiment with SCP-682. SCP-682 is this super deadly SCP who they have been trying to kill for a very long time because it's this like huge sentient reptile that like makes you go crazy or just rips you to pieces.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if we've actually covered it or not.
I don't think
That said,
so.
it's incredibly dangerous and they just want to kill it. So the first thing that it says on SCP-682's profile is like, to be terminated as soon as the method is found. So this is a proposed solution to SCP-682. Following the failure of other options and given the priority accorded to termination of SCP-682, doctors redacted, I don't think they're related, have proposed that SCP-682 be deliberately exposed to SCP-689, presumably followed by turning off the lights or a similar measure. SCP-689 staff cautioned that in the event of a deliberate observation failure, all personnel who have seen SCP-689 other than the intended target must be either terminated in advance, so you just kill off everyone who's ever worked with this thing or seen it, or placed in the containment chamber with the intended subject to ensure that the object does not escape containment. Given the apparently random nature of the selection process, it is also likely that multiple trials would be required before the target came under attack. Staff recommends that if such an option is activated, all Class D personnel be terminated in advance of the attempt to improve chances of success. It's nice to know that they have your best interest in mind at the SCP Foundation.
They just want to murder you.
Everything wants to contain, protect. Not really. So one thing I find that's interesting in this, and this just might be an error in the fiction, is that pictures of the SCP don't cause you to experience its effects.
Whereas Weeping Angel, the image of an angel is an angel.
Has nothing to do with Doctor Who, but thank you for always trying to work that in. Is that they state that the person who's sitting outside at the observation panel or whatever has to be blind or wearing a visor because they can't look at it. So it's like, why don't you just set up a fucking camera in there and have it observed at all times by the person that's on the outside, and then they can just press the buttons or whatever presumably that panel is for, that you need a blind person or a blinded person to be seated there. So either way, I thought this one was super good because it's this tiny little innocuous object that is dangerous as fuck. So good stuff. I enjoyed SCP-689.
Yeah, it does. I mean, this whole thing gives me Weeping Angel vibes. If you take your eyes off of it, it's gonna kill someone.
Yeah. Whereas a Weeping Angel, they just like move towards you until they touch you, and then something happens once they touch you. This is just like someone randomly that's seen it dies.
Over the series of Doctor Who, they change.
They become deadlier, right?
Well, like in the Amy Pond later episodes, they get sent back in time, remember?
But they get tapped.
Yeah.
I thought that's what happens regardless in the first one, too. The Doctor escapes them. Blink. The episode Blink, where
you're right.
He's barely in it.
Yeah.
Because that's how they wind up in the past in the first place.
Her friend gets sent back to the past, right?
I don't know. I don't remember Blink that well. I remember how Blink ends, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Oh, okay.
That's a great episode.
It is a great episode. But her friend goes with her to that house, and her friend disappears, and she gets sent to the past. And
they're trying to get back to the future. Anyways, that was SCP-689.
Nice. Goose drink wine. All right. So I'm going to get into my first SCP of this episode, and I'm going to go with a great year. SCP-1994.
I was going to say, I was 9 years old in 1994. I don't remember much except...
I was 5.
I think Forrest Gump came out that year. I think.
No.
But again, I'm not sure.
Did it?
Might have been 96. Get 94 and 96 confused a lot. So.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
So I'm going to first get into the description of what this is.
Are you doing it backwards?
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because of the way they wrote this, it's just I feel more comfortable describing it and then stuff like that. Because I don't want to start with how to contain it. You don't even know what it is yet, right? So we're gonna start with description. So SCP-1994 is a general designation for a set of phenomena discovered in the dental laboratory of a Dr. Razmin Yelkov. SCP-1994-1 is a serum developed by Dr. Yelkov in 1958. Doesn't seem that long ago. Not too scary, right? If it were made forever ago, I'd be more scared, I think, because things get worse with time, right?
Okay.
I don't know. Chemical analysis of SCP-1994-1 has returned conflicting results, with certain samples exhibiting higher levels of sodium monofluorophosphate and others with higher levels of hexafluorosilicic acid, along with other non-specific chemical structures. Regardless of its chemical makeup, SCP-1994-1 appears to have been designed to stimulate the growth of maxillary and mandibular tooth structures outside of the oral environment. What that means is this is a serum to stimulate growth of your teeth outside of your mouth.
And these pictures
are
different body parts with teeth there instead of fingernails.
Ugh.
And it has teeth
It's
on like
horrifying.
a wrist where it looks like there was a wart growing, but they were teeth.
They're teeth.
And I'm so happy this is fictional because it's fucking gross and
What
it's
if it's
going to
not
haunt my
fictional?
dreams.
What
It
if
is
it's real?
fictional.
You don't know that.
It is
What
on
if-
the SCP
Okay.
site. It is fictional,
What
Robin.
you know what I'm gonna do for this coming topic episode, I'm gonna totally try and see if I can find anything about teeth growing on
It's
people.
gross.
Okay. Shit. Okay. All right. So SCP-1994-2 are calcified structures resembling human teeth that have grown on the body outside of the oral environment as a result of SCP-1994-1. While -2 visually appears identical to human teeth, they lack some of the base structures of teeth. They do not contain a dentin layer, nor do they contain pulp tissue. That's the soft shit inside your teeth. Instead, SCP-1994-2 instances appear to be a solid piece of enamel. A solid, just the hard teeth. Gross. Notably, SCP-1994-2 are highly susceptible to decay, as teeth tend to do if you don't brush them. As they decay, SCP-1994-2 will release a fine white powder capable of infecting those who inhale it.
This sounds awful.
So, if you don't take care of the teeth that are growing on the outside of your mouth, that'll decay and then infect other people. Fucking gross. SCP-1994-3 are individuals who have been injected with the serum -1, right? Or exposed to the powder byproduct of -2. The purpose of these injections were detailed in private logs of Dr. Yelkov. Subjects exposed to SCP-1994-1 will go through 5 distinct stages of infection. 1. Initial exposure. Subject is exposed to SCP-1994-1 through injection or to the particulate byproduct of -2. The subject will show no outward signs of infection for a period of roughly 2 weeks, during which the subject, -3, will undergo internal cellular physiological changes. Calcium deposits will begin to appear at various locations throughout the body, and cell structures devoted to immune response and bodily maintenance will slowly begin to quote-unquote reorganize into systems capable of assembling the necessary components of enamel. 2. Breakouts. After an average of 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Now I feel like I have to count it like the fucking count. Okay, after an average of 2 weeks of development below the skin layer, SCP-1994-2 first appears encapsulated in cysts that rupture the skin as they grow. Fucking ew. These quote-unquote breakouts begin initially on the limbs before appearing in other regions such as the head, neck, back, and groin. Gross.
I was going to say, please leave the groin out. Please leave the groin out.
-3 will find these instances painful to the touch and will resist any attempts to remove -2 from their bodies. The growth and spread of breakouts of SCP-1994-2 directly correlate to decreased metabolic functions in -3. All right. Step 3. Maturation and encapsulation. So, approximately 5 weeks from initial exposure, the cysts containing -2 burst open,
Gross.
revealing mature adult human teeth. Once these teeth are exposed, they will become permanently affixed to the skin tissue of -3 and are removable only through surgery. Additionally, this phase is identified by a rapid expansion of breakout sites. So once it happens, it starts popping all over your body,
It's like
right?
tooth herpes, basically.
As more SCP-1994-2 instances mature, breakouts will quickly cover all of the extremities and begin to appear in the softer tissues of the palate of the mouth, inner ear, anal and vaginal openings, fucking ew, and ocular tissues, also ew. Ugh.
I like my SCP better.
This one is
Kill me now,
fuck nasty.
SCP-689.
All right, this step 4 is the decay, right? After an average of 8 weeks of encapsulation, the whole body of SCP-1994-3, which is the subject, it's the person that gets taken over, right?
Right.
Will be covered in a layer of -2, which are the teeth. However, shortly after finally maturing, -2 will begin to develop rapid, carious lesions across all surfaces. The means by which the decay progresses is currently unknown, as SCP-1994-2 are not subject to exposure of the acid-producing oral bacteria, which is commonly used to create such lesions. The full decay of all instances of -2 is swift, often taking no longer than 7 days to exhibit signs of gross decay. This whole thing is gross. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. During this time, -2 will begin to release a fine white powder that lingers in the air. 6 feet. That's all I'm saying.
That's funny.
The effects of which have been detailed above. Yes, you will catch it. Conventional air scrubbing techniques have proven effective in eliminating this powder from the air. Seriously, 6 feet.
Will my essential
Wear a
oil
face mask.
diffuser protect me?
What the fuck?
Lavender.
Oh, Lord. Step 5 is expiration, which I assume is death. Once the processes involved in the creation and maturation of SCP-1994-2 have run their course, and the body of SCP-1994-3, the subject, is completely covered in a full rot, the subject will shortly thereafter expire. Because of the high volume of decayed tissue covering the body, the weakened state of the immune system, and the incapacity to ingest any form of nutrition, either through the skin or through the mouth, because you have teeth all over your fucking body, subjects invariably die after roughly 2 weeks of full decay. The corpse of -3, which is the subject, must be incinerated to remove any lingering particulate matter from -2.
Oh, if I have these things, I'm jumping straight into that incinerator. Skipping some steps here.
So, for the discovery of this thing, right? The whole of SCP-1994 was discovered during a joint effort by Foundation agents and GRU Division P operatives in redacted USSR in 1959. At the time of recovery, 9 instances of -3, which are subjects that are covered in teeth, were discovered, with 7 having previously expired due to the effects of their condition, and 2 actively undergoing decay. I hope they wore some bodysuits to make sure they didn't get sick. Dr. Yelkov was not found, although a large portion of his notes and journals were recovered. As a result of this raid, 5 Foundation agents and 3 GRUP operatives were exposed to -2's airborne powder. Once the effects became apparent, these personnel were designated -3 and underwent testing. It became apparent during classification of recovered research materials that many instances of 1994-2 and 1994-1 had been moved to their other unknown locations. So obviously, this is class Keter because it is incredibly dangerous, and fucking gross. But yeah, obviously, to contain this, you gotta set the bodies on fire, right? There's obviously going to be monitoring around them. All recovered units of SCP-1994-1 are to be contained in a maximum security containment locker, and is currently considered uncontained because it could still be out there. It's a serum, so it's like you could just have it in your pocket, right, and just shoot people up with it. Bam,
this is
bam,
like
bam.
the super soldier serum, except not at all, except that it's a serum. That's all.
So any remains of subjects that have been infected with this SCP are to be maintained, and then they're put in vaults, high-volume air scrubbing systems. They're just taken care of to make sure that it doesn't spread. So that's SCP-1994.
Gross.
It's fuck gross.
I don't know why you picked it.
Because it's great.
It's disgusting.
It's fucking great.
It's yuck. It's a bucket of fucking yuck. It's so nasty, dude.
Fuck nasty. Yeah, it's that's why I chose it though. I saw the teeth thing and I was like, hell yeah. This one is disgusting.
I'm gonna write my own. It's gonna be super similar, but it's gonna be dicks. People grow dicks all over them. And I don't know what else I'm gonna come up with. But it's fucking not as gross as this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, teeth freak me out. Just saying.
Teeth this is a gross one. Let's move on. 1994 was a better year. It deserved more than this. So, good stuff. Thank you, Robin, for bringing that one up.
You're welcome. Teeth.
Ew. So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. All right, so I'm going to move into the next SCP of the show, and this one is SCP-131. And this one is my cute one. I'm pretty happy I'm doing this one after Robin's super fucking gross one. Yuck. Again.
It's not that yuck.
SCP-131's object class is safe. Special containment procedures, which I start with because I go in the proper order. No special safety procedures are to be taken with SCP-131 and SCP-131-B. There's two of these things. They are free to travel about Site-19, which is basically the site where the SCP Foundation is, so long as they do not attempt to enter any restricted areas or attempt to leave the facility.
They look cute.
Casual contact with the subjects is permitted, but it is recommended that such contact be kept to a minimum to prevent the creatures from forming an attachment to personnel. Hourly tabs are to be kept on the subject at all times. Failure to account for their presence at these times constitutes a Level 1 lockdown. Any report of abuse or mistreatment of the subjects will result in a harsh reprimand. So here's your description of these creatures. SCP-131-A and B, affectionately nicknamed iPods, EYE pods, by personnel, are a pair of teardrop-shaped creatures, roughly 30 centimeters again.
1 foot?
Except this one says in parentheses, 1 foot, in height.
Thank you.
With a single blue eye in the middle of their bodies. So they basically look like these beautifully colored teardrops, or earbuds, if you will, with an eye there that is a very pretty blue. So now that you know that, they let you know SCP-131-A is a burnt orange color, while SCP-131-B is a mustard yellow. At the base of each creature is a wheel-like protrusion which allows for locomotion, suggesting that the creatures may be biomechanical in origin. The subjects can move surprisingly fast, covering 60 meters, or 200 feet, in a matter of seconds. The subjects, however, lack a braking system, which has led to some rather spectacular, if not overly amusing, mishaps involving the creatures. Subjects have also shown the ability to climb sheer surfaces and have also gotten lost in the air vents on more than one occasion. The subjects seem to have the intelligence of common house cats and are insatiably curious. Most of the time, they simply roll around the facility, observing personnel at work and catching peeks of other safe-class SCPs.
It's cute.
The subjects seem to be able to communicate with each other via an untranslatable high-pitched babbling, which just reminds me of R2-D2. The subjects have never been observed to blink, even in laboratories when the subjects have been videotaped for over 18 consecutive hours. The subjects seem to respond well to any affection given to them and will quickly bond to the giver of said affection, much in the same way a puppy bonds with a human being. They will follow anyone or anything they've made a bond with anywhere, even into normally restricted areas.
That's where they get in trouble.
Although curious, the subjects can sense danger in their general vicinity, and if the object of their bond begins to approach something they register as dangerous, either Euclid or Keter class objects, they will swarm around their bonded companion's feet or appropriate extremities while babbling in a panicked tone as if to warn them. I imagine this sounds like, hey, listen, but in their speak. Because of the daily dangers faced by Site-19 staff in dealing with Euclid and Keter class objects, it is recommended that staff avoid making attempts to bond with the subjects as it can pose a distraction during delicate operations, and experiments may pose a danger to the subjects themselves. If the subjects are ignored by their bonded target long enough, they will eventually lose interest and return to their normal activities.
I would want to love it forever.
It should be noted that the subjects require no real care or maintenance from the site staff. They do not eat, leave droppings, or even sleep. It would seem that the only sustenance they require is visual stimulation, although this requires further study to verify. Subjects SCP-131-A and B were found in a cornfield outside Redacted in the year 19 Redacted. They were promptly transported to Site-19 via data expunged, which is new.
That's just like another word for fucking redacted.
And were then downgraded to safe class and given free reign of the site once it became clear they were not broadcasting what they saw to any hostile foreign powers. This one has an addendum, and it is an addendum regarding SCP-173. During an incident that took place on date redacted, the subjects followed one of the cleaning staff on routine cleaning of the container of SCP-173.
Which is?
My first one.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The one where you have to look at it at all times.
All right.
After their normal attempts, I'm pretty sure it's my first one. Let me make sure. Beep. Nope.
No,
Keyboard's
the other
off.
one was 689. Goose
Shit,
Drink
you're
Wine.
right. Fuck. Oh, I fucked this up. Oh no, this is fucking bad. Hang on. No one move. Everyone stay still. No one move.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Oh, ew, that thing's gross.
Yeah, the other one was gross, which is why I didn't pick it. SCP-173 is another SCP that's just like the one that I covered, SCP-689.
All right.
All right, so after their normal attempts to warn the cleaner of the danger were ignored, the creatures rushed into the container in front of him and the other 2 personnel on duty. Once inside, the staff members observed the subject sitting in front of SCP-173 and watching it intently as if aware that it could only move if unobserved. The cleaners ignored the presence of the subjects and continued with the bi-weekly cleaning as per standard procedures. When the cleaning crew left, the subjects did as well, rolling backwards slowly and never taking their eyes off of SCP-173. Current applications of SCP-131-A and B as quote-unquote wardens for SCP-173 and perhaps other SCP which require constant observation, such as 689,
Goose Drink Wine.
are being considered. So it's basically your little buddy, and it can also help you with your job if you know how to utilize it properly, but don't trip over it because you will probably die.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
I like tossing in the cute ones because people put as much effort into the cute ones as they do the creepy ones, and instead of being fucking grossed out because of teeth, you can just be like, oh, it's a little teardrop buddy.
Sounds like teeth are a you problem.
What?
Not
Sounds of teeth?
Sounds like teeth are a you problem.
Oh, that sentence doesn't make any sense to me, so.
I don't mind the
It's
teeth.
just grammatically incorrect.
It's just
but
gross.
sounds like it's a you problem, I think is what you're trying to say to me.
That's what I just
regarding my
fucking
like
said.
phobia
Yeah.
of your tooth monster thing,
Yeah.
but I'm fine with it. Let's just move on because it's going to haunt my dreams anyway, so why give it any more time in my waking
I
hours?
hope I haunt your dreams.
You do haunt my dreams. Stop touching me. All right, and that was SCP, whatever it was.
131.
That's it.
Holy fuck.
Well, maybe if you didn't fucking interrupt me all the goddamn time to bring
How
up
do
your
I know
stupid,
this
creepy
shit?
SCPs.
You didn't even know what your first one was. You couldn't
689, I remember that. Duh. Jesus, Robin, read a book.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, I'm marking it.
Alrighty then. Okay, so my final SCP for this particular episode is SCP-2030. Good year. Hopefully it's a good year.
Fingers crossed.
And the description of this SCP is an anomalous phenomenon that manifests as a television series, the medium through which SCP-2030 manifests changes depending on the most popular format currently in use. As of 2014, SCP-2030 most commonly inserts itself into automated DVD rental kiosks, file sharing websites, and paid on-demand video streaming services. Prior to 2012, SCP-2030 commonly manifested as a DVD set in video rental stores and as VHS tapes prior to 2003. Thus far, no reliable evidence that SCP-2030 manifestations took place prior to the year 1993 have been discovered.
I was going to say, what about when it was just books?
However, 38 seasons of programming are known to exist, implying that SCP-2030 has been active to some degree since 1976. The series title typically appears as Laugh is Fun, although variations on this name such as Laugh is Life or Laugh is Laugh are not uncommon. Or what is the Live, Laugh, Love?
Live, Laugh, Love.
The series has no corresponding box art. It mimics art from other television series, often causing viewers to select it, mistaking it for other programs. The show is a hidden camera comedy series, showcasing the candid responses of various people to bizarre, disturbing, and often anomalous situations. Episodes usually run between 10 and 12 minutes and feature introductory and closing segments that bookend the hidden camera footage. No episode to date has had an end credit roll. SCP-2030-1 is presumably human adult male that serves as the show's host.
I was going to say, who's hosting the intro and outro?
Providing introductory and closing commentary, as well as appearing to quote-unquote victims to reveal that they are being filmed for a television series.
I've heard of this, actually. It
Really?
turned into a series on MTV called Punk'd.
Fuck you.
And Ashton Kutcher is actually the SCP.
SCP-2030-1 is invariably shown wearing royal blue three-piece suit with black and white wing-tipped shoes.
God damn, this guy sounds hot.
Due to the way in which scenes are filmed, SCP-2030-1 is only seen from the neck down, making identification difficult. It refers to itself as Laffy McLafferson.
They really put some thought into that
fun.
name.
Individuals appearing on the show often react to the events that they witness with panic or distress, but appear immediately calmed upon the appearance of SCP-2030-1.
His name is Laffy McLafferson. Jesus.
This is true even when the individual in question has sustained significant bodily harm or witnessed a particularly traumatic event. Additionally, most recorded individuals seem to express some degree of familiarity with SCP-2030-1, with some claiming to be fans of the show. Research into whether SCP-2030 uses its viewership as its victim selection pool is ongoing. Episodes follow a particular theme that each prank segment alludes to. Dash 1 introduces these themes at the beginning of each episode in an as-of-yet unidentified film studio while standing atop a bright yellow stage decorated with oversized geometric shapes of various colors. Episode themes vary from the mundane, such as the beach, pets, and candy, to the strange and violent, such as mail fraud, arson, and terrorism. Dash 1 delivers a similar speech at the end of each program to close out the show.
You know, this started existing again after Punked was canceled, and it's called Tosh.0.
Fucking Jesus. I hate you. At the end of each episode, the camera pulls back and around from 2030-1 stage to show the studio audience, which usually comprises the individuals featured in that episode. During this time, the words filmed in front of a studio audience created in partnership with YWTGTHFT are superimposed over the footage in white text, which is ironic because the text on here is red. Research into the identities... Is
that irony?
No, it's just funny. Research into the identities of the people featured in the show's prank segments has revealed that they are all persons who were officially documented as having died or gone missing in the year they appeared on the program. Thorough investigations into the deaths of SCP-2030 participants have revealed a number of inconsistencies and contradictions in matters concerning the circumstances of the deaths. Additionally, exhumations of the individuals' remains have revealed that all recorded participants' bodies are currently fucking missing. The general consensus among researchers assigned to SCP-2030 is that victims are likely abducted after their use in the show, with their disappearances covered up when possible. However, no concrete evidence connecting the individuals' deaths with 2030, besides the show's footage, has yet to be found. This is a transcript. There's a little addendum, little tidbitty after. It says the following is a transcription of a typical speech delivered by SCP-2030-1 during one of the show's closing segments. This is in season 32 in 2008. The episode theme was printers. The transcription goes, "Ha! What a ride, eh, folks? We've seen printers that eat, eaters that print, and everything in between. Makes you appreciate the old clunker you have back at the office, doesn't it? No, printers may not always work when you want or need them to, but they sure make for some excellent comedy. And that's what we're about here. Comedy. We're here to make you laugh. We hope you laughed. Thank you for laughing with us. That's what we're about here, doesn't it, folks? Come laugh with us again next time. And remember, laugh is fun. Good night and laugh and just laugh. We love to make you laugh. Make more for laughter, so as to for laugh with us, laugh with us, laugh with us, laugh with us, one of us. No, it just keeps going, laugh with us. Laugh and let us in. Note, video cuts off abruptly and a black screen is displayed for 30 seconds. Laughter and soft, wet noises can be heard in the background before the program ends.
Yuck.
Fucking ew. Special containment procedures, Foundation-operated web analysis bot Delta 09, quote-unquote, laugh stop, is to be kept in constant operation and checked for defects twice a day by a level 2 staff member familiar with this operation. When functional, the bot will search a wide range of file sharing and video streaming websites for SCP-2030 and remove any manifestations discovered. Finding and isolating 2030's point of origin is considered a Delta level priority. Efforts to locate the studio where SCP-2030 is filmed are ongoing. This is obviously object class Keter, so it's dangerous because they don't know where it's coming from. And people keep going missing or, murdered. I assume the wet sounds are blatant sounds of murder.
I figured they were just like eating fried chicken or something that makes you salivate a lot.
Fuck, fried chicken sounds so good though.
It does. But yeah, I was just trying to put a positive spin on that because I imagine someone's being devoured or something along those lines as well.
The idea of something telling you to laugh so that it can come in, invite it in.
Even your reading was disturbing.
Was it? Did you like it?
No.
Oh.
That's why I called it disturbing.
Oh, all right. Yeah, because like that whole idea where they are trying to discover whether or not the audiences get pulled in and are their next victims. You know what I mean? And they're still researching that. That's what it says.
Well, didn't they say that the audiences are always the people who are in the episodes?
They turn around and say it's the studio audience, and the studio audience are the people that have been the victims in that episode.
Right.
So
you should also note that you usually say at the end of a program, filmed in front of a live studio audience, and they just say filmed in front of a studio audience. I feel like they deliberately left out the word live because they're dead. That was just my interpretation of that. So
did I say live or not live?
You didn't. It wasn't in there.
Oh yeah, it just says filmed in front of a studio audience. It doesn't say live.
Attention.
Holy shit. What?
Stay away from prank shows is what I've learned.
That is SCP-2030. I thought that one was pretty interesting. I tried to pick some weird ones this week.
You nailed it.
Thanks.
Teeth and prank shows. So
yeah.
Pretty.
The teeth one is the most disturbing of all those.
That one was pretty gross, but either way, good stuff, Robin.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you so much to everyone who listened to us read these 4 SCPs. It was fun. I love SCP Foundation. I think it's one of the most... I think this is probably my favorite thing I've discovered while doing this show, which I never would have discovered had Robin not covered it during one of our topic episodes when she covered one of the more notable podcasts about the Russian sleep experiment. Right? Yep. And that one's
that was a creepypasta.
Was that a creepypasta? Yeah. I think that's when we started talking about SCPs. But either way, we hope you enjoyed it. Please reach out to us on our social medias if you want to suggest an SCP for us to read. We had someone during the live show say, please read this one.
We're
going to add it to our list because that sounds like a fun time to do. You can hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod. Instagram is @scarishpodcast. If you would like to reach out to us via email, you can email pastatime@scarish.com, or if you yourself have a creepypasta or an SCP you would like to submit, feel free to send it our way. The next Pastatime we are going to read listener submitted stories that we have in our inbox that are waiting for the next story time. The next Pastatime. So I'm excited to cover that. And thank you so much to the folks who sent those in. Feel free to do so. You can also do that as well. Or go to scarish.com, click on contact us, fill out that form, and it comes directly to us. So.
That would be correct.
Indeed. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1. At $1, you get ad-free episodes. And right now, there is a 20% off coupon to our Etsy store, which has all our pins that I've created on there. So if you're interested in pins, stickers, buttons, things like that, 20% off if you join Patreon today. I mean... for $1, right? Discount.
Join for $1, get 20% off.
Fuck yeah.
It pays for itself instantly if you're buying anything off
merch.
Of the Etsy store.
And you can also go to coffee, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. All your donations go to helping us upgrade our studio, set up, kind of pay for the back end things like website hosting, podcast hosting,
any sort of technological upgrades or replacements that we have to do, because that does happen. Not that frequently, knock on wood.
We've had to replace our mic arms and things like that.
Lots of things that we've had to do in the past, and we don't have to fret or freak out because we have folks that donate to us.
Of you folks, yeah. And we really couldn't be here without you, and we're so incredibly thankful. So thank you, everyone, for listening and sharing us with your friends and family, and we love you.
Indeed. So thank you so much one more time, but I think that's everything we have for this episode of Pastatime number 16. So Robin,
16.
Go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Later.